Hello everybody, welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're going to react to How To. So How To was an informative education program produced by TVS, which stands for Television South, between 1990 and 91, and then that shut down. So Scottish Television Studios took over and produced this from 92 all the way until 2006. Show was hosted originally by Fred, Dinenage? I'm not sure. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. Fred Dinenage, Gareth Jones, and Carol Vorderman. And then later in 2000s was hosted by Gail McKenna until the show ended. Now, yesterday, when I saw this, I figured it was called How To because it was a pun, how to, but instead of two, it's two. Turns out, no, it's actually a sequel show. The original show was just called Hal, and it aired from 1966 all the way until 1981. So this quite literally is How To. Fair enough. This had 15 series, went for a total of 198 episodes. There's a sparse amount of episodes of this on YouTube, probably not the one where she talks about blowing up Scotland yesterday. Be very lucky if it was. I downloaded a random episode. This apparently is from series 1, so it came out in 1990. So let's see what we can find out how to do, or how to do.
How can you tell where someone comes from by the shape of their ears?
And how rude is a piece of paper?
Pretty rude.
Can you turn and move in space? Whoa!
How? How?
You can really tell where someone's from by the shape of their ears? I better answer that question for me.
How?
How can I make money disappear?
Invest it in stocks and
A
shares.
very good way of doing it, Mr. Fred, but I can do it another way.
How?
Right. Let me have a deal with you.
I want to
If can
disappear, I
make
want to
some of
multiply.
your money disappear in front of your very eyes, can I keep it?
Yes.
Have you a coin, sir?
Yes. As long as it's in front of my eyes, my last 10 pence.
The coin on the table, I have no sleeves, so there is nothing up them. Place glass on top of coin. Can you still see it?
Yes, it's still there. Ah.
This is the magic. Pour water into the glass.
What the hell?
Disappears. And the reason why it disappears is because the water bends light. And if you don't believe
There's a
me,
bug
then
in
look
there.
at this. Water in
You
a
see that?
bowl,
There's a fly in the
straight
water.
pencil. Place the pencil into the water, and the pencil appears to bend. Straight and bent. And the water in the glass bends the light so much that you can't see the coin at all.
So my 10 pence is still there.
Not really, Fred, no.
Yoink.
How can you move in space?
Gas
Now,
top.
movement on Earth is kind of difficult, and it's the very things that make movement on Earth difficult that make it possible. I'm talking about friction and gravity. Carol, come with me. I shall need your assistance on this. Come with me to simulated space. Now, step yourself up onto simulated space.
All right.
I've simulated space here with a frictionless turntable.
Whoa.
Now then,
Okay.
attempt to stop
This is
yourself.
just nightmare.
Stop! I can't stop, guys.
Okay, well, try and go the other way then. Can't do that either, can you?
Ah, no.
I will help. Allow me to stop you. Now.
Right.
Okay, stable?
Yes.
Stable. Hair out of mouth. Take hold of this bicycle wheel. Now, you wouldn't have thought that a bicycle wheel would be much help in space.
No.
But indeed it is. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, now twist the bike wheel.
Ah! Oh!
Ah,
Ah! Oh!
Twist it the other way.
And stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
I see where you're
Stop
getting at.
yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, this is actually how satellites control their position in space. They have 3, not bicycle wheels, but gyroscopes, which work in different planes, and that controls their position relative to where they are, as it were. And that's all very well for turning on the spot, but what about if you want to go somewhere? All right, Chuck, let me take this from you. And that's why I had the gloves on. Right.
Ah,
Take hold of this rocket, or in our case, fire extinguisher, really. All right. now then.
Yes.
There is a law which says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if the gas from this cylinder goes that way, then you
I thought
should
you
go
said there's a
that
law.
way.
Don't.
But being as you're
You
standing on a
shouldn't spray people
turntable,
with fire
you go round and
extinguishers
round.
if they're not on fire.
Fire it up.
Learn
Here
that
we
the hard
go.
way.
This way.
Are you ready?
And if Carol was really in space, she'd carry on spinning forever and forever. Now, so much for going around forever and ever in
What?
space.
What are you doing?
Simulate straight lines in space using my friction-free skateboard and this jetpack of compressed air.
What
and
the
this
hell?
should propel me forwards.
And he was never
Gaz
seen
on top
again.
of the world, I'm worried about him. How can you tell where someone comes from by the shape of their ears?
That's what I
Back
wanna
to
know.
Earth, lads. Take a look at Gaz's ear. As you'd expect, a rather unusual one, slightly shell-like, which indicates he might come from
thank
near
you.
the sea. Probably, I think, from North Wales, Gaz, you are.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
And let's take a look at Carol's ears. Again, it's very, very similar, actually, to Gaz's. A bit smaller, of course, a bit more feminine, a bit more feline. Again, that shell-like shape. Again, from
She is
North
a
Wales,
woman.
I think, from near the sea. Probably from near Rhyl in North Wales.
He's right.
He's right.
Are you
How do you know that?
He read your file.
Yesterday, don't you remember? But it's not easy with these two. It doesn't work with humans, but it does work with elephants. You know the old problem. Some elephants have got big ears.
You lied to
some
me.
elephants have got small ears, little ears. Which is which? Some are African elephants, some are Indian elephants. How do you tell the difference? I'll tell you how. The elephant with the big ears comes from Africa, and you can tell because his ears are the same shape
think I knew this at one
as
point.
Africa. The
Kinda.
little elephant comes from India, and you can tell because his ears are the same shape as the country he comes from, India.
That's very thoughtful of them, isn't it?
That's how, you see, you tell the difference between the elephant from Africa and the elephant from India, or the difference between him and him. That's how.
Well, how rude is a piece of paper?
Well, it depends what you write on it, I suppose.
True.
No. It depends what's drawn on it.
Well, possibly.
This is a plain piece of paper, is it not? I can make this piece of paper rude by doing this. Take a pencil, place it in one corner, wrap that corner around it, and roll right to the
Whoa.
very end. Once you've done that, loosen it slightly, and the pencil drops out. Secure that with a piece of sellotape, and...
Not very rude.
We need Neil for the
Not
show.
very rude at the moment. This is the clever bit. At one end, take a pair of scissors and cut from the V to one side.
She should not be teaching kids how to
Open
do
it out,
this.
and then cut from the V to the other side so that you end up with an arrowhead. Bend that arrowhead upwards,
You make it a pea shooter?
that. Place the other end in your mouth and suck gently.
Pause.
Yes, that is rude.
It is rude, is
I
it
imagine
not?
the
Now,
parents
the
were
longer
mad
you
at
make
this
the piece of
episode.
paper, the lower the raspberry.
Thank you.
The shorter it is, the higher the raspberry. And I think we ought to have the Rude Paper Symphony, if we will, gentlemen. After three, a one,
Because
a
you know
two,
kids
a
definitely did this. Whoa.
And that's how rude a piece of paper can be.
How did cats
Aw.
help to win the Second World War? Starring with
I
me
don't
in this
know.
particular, how the lovely Agatha and her 4 beautiful daughters. Aren't they lovely?
They are gorgeous.
Like all cats, they have remarkable eyes.
cat's like,
because
"Release me."
behind their retina, they have a surface which reflects things. Now, it's actually designed to help make them see better at
Release
night.
me.
But as well as that, it also reflects any light which is shone into the cat's eyes. For example, if you shine a torch into a cat's eyes at night, you'll see that lovely gleaming beam that comes back to you. And cats, in fact, led a Yorkshireman called Percy Shaw to invent this particular thing, which he called cat's eyes. And what it is, 2 lenses set in a rubber mounting, which is then put on the road. And what that does is reflect car headlamps. So, Carol, if you could switch your headlights on and point them straight into my cat's eyes, straight into the lenses. And the driver, in fact, is able to follow the line of the road because he's got a lovely shiny trail of lights in front of him
Aw.
called cat's eyes.
So what is the connection, Fred, between cats and Britain winning World War II?
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, yeah,
See,
that was
in
the
the
question.
Second World War, when Hitler's bombers were overhead at night, it was absolutely vital that all
That's so
lights were
cute.
turned out so they couldn't see where they were dropping their bombs. All factory lights out, street lights, house lights, and cars, when they were driving along the road at night with their headlights on, had to have a hood over the headlight, like so. Which in fact meant that Hitler's bombers couldn't see them from above, but of course it was very difficult for drivers to see where they were going. It was also vital that lots of army trucks and vehicles were moved around at night, and the only way
cat's
they
all
did
watching.
that, apart from this little
They're like, "The fuck?"
was with the help of Cat's Eyes in the Road. Cat's Eyes, how cats helped to win World War II.
Meow.
Oh, no!
Oh, my Uber driver's here.
How can you continue your journey when you've had a puncture? The answer is
Yeet.
to carry a spare, and that's exactly what I have on the back of my bike here. Ugh. Not a spare tyre, though.
Oh,
A spare motorbike.
what?
Now then, get that clear. Let's see, if I pull that up to there, I swing that round
Oh,
to
no, how practical
there,
this is.
and then I do that and that, then it starts to look like a serious motorbike. I do that, I do that, I do that, I put my lid on,
You abandon your other bike?
and off they jolly well go.
You got a license for that?
Oh, steady on. Cut, steady on.
Oh no! But what happens if you have a second puncture?
Yeet.
The answer is to carry a second spare on my back
Bruh.
this time. It's not a spare motorbike. But would you believe? A spare push bike? Check this out. Now then, that bit comes up to there, and so I can tighten that up, and we've got a pair of handlebars. If I release that catch there and pull that up, then I've got something to sit on. Now this is the clever bit. Watch
Is this
this
a
one fluid
unicycle?
movement. Huh?
Oh, no, okay.
Very nice, Mr. Jones. Seal that there like that. And, oh, yeah, pedals. That bit comes out there like that and seals there, so the pedal lies flat. Still doesn't look right. How about that, then? And I'm now able to continue my journey, even though I've had a puncture. Yahoo!
Smashing house.
How can you take ice cream out of a boiling hot oven and yet it will still remain frozen?
Wait a minute. Ice cream, boiling hot
Why would it
oven,
be in a-
contradiction in terms? You can't.
I can, and I can do it if I protect it from the heat in the oven by wrapping it in its own little quilt.
But why would we do
In a
this?
quilt, I will show you how. Well, first of all,
Why,
course,
Carol?
you need the ice cream fresh from the freezer, and next you need the quilt. Except a quilt wouldn't be very tasty, so in this circumstance we're going to use meringue. And how do you make a meringue? Well, you need some egg whites. How do you separate the yolk from the white? You crack the egg open on the side of the bowl, and you do this, and all the egg white falls
Yeah, it makes more sense
into
when
the
we're making
bowl.
something.
Now, once you've finished with that and collected 4 or so egg whites, make sure there's absolutely no yellow in the bowl, otherwise the meringue won't work. Now, to
Looks kinda yellow to
protect
me.
the ice cream from the heat, we need some sort of insulation, and that's the quilt. And the wonderful thing is that we have air in this quilt. And how do we add air to the mixture? Well, we whisk it up like this. Now, you keep going with that until it's ready. How do you know it's ready? You know it's ready when it looks beautifully snowy, and it has peaks which stay still if you fluff them up. Your meringue is almost ready, because at this point it looks good, but it doesn't taste particularly nice. So you need to add some sugar, like that. But you have to fold the sugar in gently, otherwise you'll bash out all the air and you won't have your protection at all. Once you've done that, you end up with something like this.
How many balls you have?
This is the quilt, except you need a quilt on the bottom. The quilt on the bottom is Swiss roll, because that's
Oh.
full of tiny
Oh, that's
pockets
cool.
of air as well, and that insulates the bottom of the ice cream from the heat. You do that, you put the ice cream on top, and then you cover the whole lot in your meringue. And you have to make sure that there are absolutely no gaps whatsoever, otherwise the heat will get through and the ice cream will melt. Now, once you've done that, a little tidier than I have, you plonk it in the oven for 5 minutes, but you have to be pretty careful to choose the right oven, because microwave ovens cook from the inside out, so the heat gets in there first of all, and you'd end up with something like this.
Oh.
Not particularly pretty.
Why would you put it in a microwave, though?
You put it in a proper oven. This one's been in here for a few minutes, and when you take it out, it looks wonderful. It looks crisp. It's a very hot bowl. The moment of truth, gentlemen.
makes cake in a
we
microwave?
Slice it open. A frozen ice cream inside.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Excuse me. There you go. Some for you and some for you, guys.
You destroyed its piece. Bro, can't believe it. Well, that was interesting purely because I can see where Art Attack got a lot of inspiration from. Because when did Art Attack start? Let's see. Art Attack was same year, actually. That's interesting. But then again, this was a sequel show to HAL 1. So that's actually pretty interesting. They both started the same year. Is there a date? Well, let's see. June 15th, 1990 for Art Attack. September 26th. So Art Attack actually started before this. Okay. But I imagine it was a lot inspired by the original HAL. Oh. Art Attack was also originally a production by TVS. So they produced both these shows. What the hell happened to TVS then? Let's see. It ceased broadcasting after losing its franchise to Meridian Broadcasting during a review of the franchise holder. Meridian Broadcasting is ITV. During a review of the franchise holders, the company was sold to the U.S. firm International Family Entertainment, which it was ABC Family Worldwide, a subsidiary of Disney. Of course it is. Okay, wow. So TVS produced both those shows? That's a fucking plot twist. What else did they do? Anything else interesting? The Castle Adventure? Fraggle Rock? They did that. The Storyteller? Rupert? Interesting. Okay. Pyramid Game? Catchphrase? They did Catchphrase. Jeopardy as well. That's interesting. Huh, okay. But yeah, I didn't expect that plot twist of him producing both of them. Well, I don't think these are kind of scattered across the internet, just random episodes. I don't think I'll be able to find the one about her talking about Scotland blowing up or whatever. I would have liked to know what the hell that was about. but I don't think we're gonna find it, unfortunately. That was my reaction to HAL 2, though. If you want to see a reaction to HAL 1, I'd be down to do that. Let me know. That's it for me today, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave it a like. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video description, as well as names of my patrons. If you didn't know, you could be Patreon on me for as little as $1 or £1, the extra direction videos, as well as a reading comments with daily, sometimes more. Of all being said, though, my name is Taffer. This has been my reaction to HAL 2, and I'll see you next time. Bye.